Well, hello, anybody watching. Appreciate it if you are. Just press a like or subscribe. It's going to be very hard to get a few people on here because there is literally hundreds of shows going at the moment for obvious reasons. Question is on this one is where the actual hell do I start on this? You know what? One thing I'm going to have to do myself here, seeing as that thing just jarred me up that much, just while I do this for a little while, I need a drink. Because after something like that, I think someone deserves one. So, anyone else can have a drink? Yeah, I like my Southern Comfort. Where do we actually start? I mean, look, just looking at the people on here already. I mean, Daryl, mate, I couldn't have said any better myself. Spursy is real. Winning a league is a dream. Context. Mate, that's not just context, bruv. That is fact. Absolute fact. Today, you know what? You can't even blame the team as a whole. You really can't, because some people in there really did show something. They really showed something. But I'll get to that point a little bit later as I go on. I need a favour while I'm doing this as well. I'm trying to quit fucking smoking, and watching that has just done me no favours. We couldn't have asked for a better starting 11. It's what we wanted. Richarlison weren't playing. Udogie got on the pitch. It's exactly what we wanted. First 10, 15 minutes even, I don't think I've seen us play that well. Not for many years ago. I mean, that was amazing, literally what we done in the first 10, 15 minutes to get that first goal. All over them. Total control, cool, calm, calculated. And Chelsea did not look like they had the leg to stand on, and we looked like we could smash those bastards 4-0. Then it just went tits up is an understatement. I mean, what Udogie was even thinking with that tackle, when it didn't even need to be made, yeah? All right, he got a yellow card for it. For me, that should have been a straight red. Everyone's got their own opinion. I know facts are facts. Nice strong one. He went in two-footed for that. If Sterling wouldn't have stepped out of the way, that could have been a career ender. Udogie should have been off, in my opinion. Because if that would have happened to a Spurs player, and he would have just stepped out of the way, I guarantee there'd have been a lot of people going on about send him off. No, it might not have had the intention. No, it might not. But, mate, you don't go two-footed. Not in this day and age. It's 2003, not 1983. It's just, it is the way it is. Udogie should have already come off. He was a lucky man. Then Romero starts running around like he's got a chip on his shoulder. I mean, again, like Daryl says here, Romero has a chip on his shoulder. You just can't trust him. After the amount we have preached that prick on how great he's been since Postecoglou's come in, for me, he's just blown the whole lot. He's going to have to work hard to make my respect and trust back again. Because seriously, he just fucked that up for everybody. Completely, utterly screwed it. I mean, yeah, Udogie should have been off as well. But it was like that old David Beckham thing, Gary Neville said. And yeah, you got it spot on. And then we just go into like chaos mode, self-destruct. What is going on? Why did we have to just lose the plot? We had no reason to. We had no reason to do that whatsoever. We was in total control. Lewis, let's all thank the vice captain and Udogie. Idiots. Terrible mentality from them. Childish. Mate, childish is an understatement, yeah? That's the way I used to play football when I was like 14. Even then you didn't go in two-footed. I mean, and Romero then knows he's like standing on thin ice, and that's an understatement, yeah? standing on thin ice. And then he goes and does that in the box and keeps his studs on. Now, some are saying that weren't necessarily a red card. Yeah, no, for me it was. If Jonesy's one against us was a red card, that was a red card all day long. Romero, you fucking dickhead, mate. What an absolute mug. I can't slate the fella enough at the moment. And then the Doji getting his second yellow when he didn't even need to go in for the tackle and then goes and does that. It wasn't even a bad tackle, but it was a yellow card. He was on a yellow card. We were down to 10 men, and then it goes into his head to do something like that. If Ange don't take them to out the back, and give them to a punch up, seriously, knows he's deserved to be broken for this one, yeah? What an absolute pair of pricks. Pair of them, especially Romero. He's meant to be one of our vice captains. I mean, honestly, if I could, I'd smack the player in the head myself. But I'm never going to meet up with him. So it's just not going to happen like that, is it? So, other people saying there, Daryl, I don't want to go hard on Ange, but that was suicidal. Now, do you know what? I mean, I'll get to all this a bit later, yeah? Because there's quite a bit to make up here, yeah? It was suicidal what we'd done, but there was actually some sense to it as such. But like I say, I'll get to that. I've just got to learn to go through the street and talk and all this. Just still getting the hang of it. Just one of those games that wasn't bad to come. No, I disagree with that, mate. That was that game. We had that on palm of our hand. We could have destroyed them. That was that sort of game where absolute dickheads made that go wrong for us. So, yeah, we just show great character, and now the test will come, and how we can get on without Romero and Udogie. Yes, I understand that. But what it also showed is how immature some of those players are. And wow, Daryl, thank you, mate. Can't say thanks enough for that. It's appreciated. At least we get to check out the depth in the next few games. Yes, we do. And you know what? With what's been said in a couple of people, I'll go back to the other chats in a minute. I'll keep this on here for a little while. Daryl, thanks, mate. Well appreciated, yeah? Now, you know what we done after that? So high pressing, it almost seemed suicidal, like people have said. It almost made a bit of sense in his way. Because do you know what? It nearly worked. Keeping them so far forward that they couldn't just come onto us and have shots left, right, and centre. And basically, sooner or later, it's going to go wrong. There was some sort of technique to it, and it was starting to look like it actually made some sense. And then when that goal went in, it just all fell to pieces after that. But there was sense to what he was doing, and it was working. But the thing you can't take away is those players was absolutely knackered. I mean, look how much. I mean, Son should have had that last one in the back of the net. I reckon if he wouldn't have been as knackered as he was, I reckon he'd have had that extra couple of seconds pace and he'd have put it in. Benton Core, you got to feel sorry for him. He tried heading it and kicking it both at the same time, and it just didn't go right. In that aspect, no, it didn't. But yeah, we did show some real character, and we did. But we have got two people to thank for why that just went totally, totally wrong. I'm scared about Van der Ven, because to me, that didn't just look like he pulled it or stretched it. Pardon me, I've got a bit of a cough where I shouted at telly so much. That looks like he could have actually busted himself pretty bad. So like Alex says, yeah, let's just hope he isn't out for too long. And what else has got said here? We'll just have to learn from this and move on. And hopefully we can cope without Udogie, Romero and Van der Ven. Yeah, it's true. It did just go wrong in every which way. But we made that hard for ourselves. Take away the injuries we had. That was one player we'd have had as an injury, basically. Two, sorry, because Maddison came off as well. But we could have been 2-0 up by then and just played the game steady. But because of them two idiots getting sent off, that's what basically screwed it for everything else. I mean, for me, the players were too pumped up and should have tried to control the game more after we scored the goal. You know what? Exactly. Why we went in for it like that, I just don't know. What I'm going to do on here is put a link out on here. If anyone wants to come on, there it is. Feel free. I've just put it on at the bottom. You'll be more than welcome. Like I said, we won't have many people watching it because all the big shows are ranking at the moment as well. I just had to come on and have a. Oh, mate. Honestly, Romero, give me half a chance. I'll let that fella right in the face. He deserves a slap, and that is an understatement. What a fucking idiot. I don't think we've got nothing to worry about Madders too much because I reckon that was just a little tweak. I reckon he'll be on by next week. He might miss another game, sort of thing. Van der Ven is definitely the one I'm worried about there. One thing that did show, though, that game was, afterwards, when we was right in the stick, we definitely showed some muscle. We had nothing to be ashamed of contemplating the situation we was in, and they really did show some character, the ones that stayed on. Now, nobody can come on here and tell me that Højbjerg is not worthy to be a club player. He came on and I thought he was brilliant. He'd done as much as he could. I mean, do you know what? You even had to give credit to Dyer and Royale. They done as much as they could. You couldn't really expect more of them. I mean, Dyer, he even saved our ass at one point, like literally 2 minutes after he came on. The fact that it went to 4-1, yes, it didn't need to go to that, but we knew another one was coming, and the way we were pressing up front, it was going to happen. After we went down to 2-1, 3-1, I'd say we should have just sat back and put our hands up. But I did get the point on why we was pressing forward. Chelsea did look lost at one point. They didn't know. At one point, they didn't look like they knew how to break it down, and it was looking all right. Right, I thought Son and Kula were brilliant for the way they worked their asses off. Absolutely, yeah. And Kulusevski's been getting a lot of stick off a lot of people, me being one of them. Today, I think he had a great game. I really did. There's not many people you can really fault for the game. Right, I've got a guest here. I'm going to have on D6K.
What's up, Dan? How are you?
There we go, mate. Let me just sort this out. There we go, fella. How are we doing?
I'm good. How are you? How's your family? How's everything?
I think you've just heard me rant enough on here enough. So,
Yeah.
come on, mate. I'm listening. I'm all ears, and so is everybody else on here. Come on, mate.
Okay, I'll just say that as it is. I told a million people when they said title chart, they said that I told you guys we're 2 injuries away from the biggest crisis we're gonna see.
Mm-hmm.
And what did we see? Everything in one game. It's not even a couple of games. Everything happened in one game. You lost Madison, your creativity. You lost your best center back. And you lost your best center back too. So you lost 2 people. And you lost your best left back.
The game couldn't have really fucked up anymore if it tried, could it? It really couldn't have gone any worse.
It's called karma. It's called karma. We were reading our luck, and everything went to shit in one game.
Yes, it did. And I have said a few times we have been very lucky at points in that. And today, one thing we was not was lucky. But again, with those injuries we had, if we wouldn't have had the 2 red cards, I still reckon we could have been 2-0, 2-1 up, and I reckon we could have rid the game out basically.
If Son timed this run just like a microsecond, it would have been 2-0 and the game's done.
Exactly.
But VAR, we know VAR how it is. It is what it is. And we got lucky.
Maybes.
And we got lucky with Caicedo's offside goal. We got lucky too on our side, but
they should have had someone sent off as well. Reece James should have come off for that elbow.
No, the only thing that actually bothered me about this, just the ref. I don't care about the red cards. It is what it is. It happens. But the fact we got 5 yellow cards and only got 1, and they made more fouls than us, I don't get it.
No, it was it was a bit of a strange run in a lot of ways. But again, at the end of the day, I still say we brought that on ourselves. We can complain about red cards that they should have had. We could complain about this and that, but I ain't no Liverpool supporter, so I ain't going to put it on all that. Yeah, you're totally right in what you're saying. But we deserved what we got in the end.
Exactly.
Blatantly for what Romero, he's meant to be our vice captain, and we have all been bigging this fella up. Bigging him up non-stop.
Then
on how he's got his head together, on how he's levelled it out, and just sussed him out, and he's doing this and he's doing that. Brilliant. Yeah. But for that, the way he done it, mate, what an idiot. And what was Adoji doing going in for that tackle when he didn't even need to?
But then, you see, for me, Romero was not a red card. Was it a bit stupid? Yes, but he got the ball. He kicked the ball, and then it went for follow-through. That's like, you can't control follow-through.
I get what you're saying, yeah, but for me, that the reason I say that was a red card is because I said the Jones one against us with Liverpool was a red card, and if anything, the Jones one was less of a red card than that for me. The reason he got the red for that is because the stud stayed up. But if Jones is going to get a red for that sort of thing, then so's Romero.
But it's not the same thing. Dan, I'm sorry.
That's all right, man. Go on, I'm listening.
Because Curtis Jones didn't get the ball. He went over the ball. But Romero kicked the ball.
He barely touched it, didn't he? He sort of skipped off the top of it, sort of slid, didn't he? He literally just about touched the ball, Jones, didn't he? And then just went over the top.
Exactly. But Romero actually kicked the ball, and then Ansu was in front of him, so he can't control that. So it's not a red card.
I can see where you're coming from, but I can totally understand why he got the red card as well. But like I said, I'm not going to hold this on ifs, buts, and maybes, whatever, and that, because we still did do a self-destruct there. And again, what was Udogie doing going in for that second tackle? The player was out wide. He didn't even need to go for it, and he was on a yellow card. It was stupid. Why? I mean, why do you reckon he went in for it?
Well, he's 20 years old, so I'm not going to blame him, but where's the leaders to tell him, calm down and stuff?
Yeah, I can see where you...
Even Dyer, you're supposed to tell him, calm down, don't go for a challenge, it's not worth it.
I definitely get what you're saying. He's a younger player in that, but he's also an international player and a professional player. And already being on a yellow card, for me, that's just common sense. But then I can understand a younger player making that sort of mistake. So I'll meet you 50-50 on that one. I definitely see where you're coming from. Same as I do on the Romero thing, but I can totally understand that being a red card.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Talk about just turn the whole thing into self-destruct, wouldn't it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, like Tom's just put on here, without Maddison, we will wish Kane was here. Now, Madders is top class covered. A lot of cracks. Yes, he has. But for me, if I'm going to put anyone to cover him, I'll go into this one again. I still think Kulusevski can cover. I think Kulusevski can cover a number 10 for us for a little bit because he's done it at Juventus for a little while. I've told a lot of people about this, and some have actually gone and checked it up. That when Chiesa came in, yes, Kulusevski lost his place, but when they did play him a few games, they played him as a number 10, and he done all right because the man's got some creativity on him, and he showed that again today. I just don't feel he's got enough space to do it on the right-hand side because he needs that bit of extra space. He's not as, how do you want to put it? He's not as twinkle toes as Maddison, is he? What would you say? Who we get?
I understand. Me personally, I would play because if you play Kula on the right, on the center, who's going to play right wing? So Richarlison has to play.
He's going to have to play now. We've got no option.
I don't want that.
I know. I mean, I'm even at. Go on, mate.
But the good thing, Maddison, I don't think he's injured. I just think it was a precaution. Because he looked good. He wanted to play, but just they told him it's not worth it. Just come out.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I'd love to see, and still now, is if we are really slacking on the right hand side, if we have to, we're going to have to use what we got now. Is use Emerson Royale as our right back, and I'd love to see Porro up on the right. Because the way I look at Porro, I mean, don't think I'm putting these in the same sort of category, same sort of player as such. But for me, Porro has a bit in common with what used to happen with Gareth Bale. No way am
Yeah.
I saying they're on the same standards. But Gareth Bale was a left back, left wing back was good. But then Harry Redknapp came in and said, no, boy, you're in the wrong place. Stuck him straight on the left, and that's where we saw the real Gareth Bale. Porro, he's got better at defending. He's not good, but he's got a lot better than he was last year. I think if you stick Porro up on the right, the man can run, the man can cross, the man can pass, he can take a man on, he's got pace, he can dribble the ball. I think he could do a good job for us up on the right-hand side if we need to stick Royale at the back.
I think the best solution would be play Brian Hill on the left, keep put Kulu on the center if Madison's injured, and put Johnson on the right.
Okay.
And then you don't have a left back. Remember, you don't have a left back, so you have to play Emerson and Kulu.
Yes, it's going to be a hard one. We got another guest on here, Minerals. Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I just watched the game and baby Drogba, Nicholas Minerals Jackson landed the minerals on you. And Romero, should you have a conversation about him? You know?
Well, me and Dietrich's just been having a conversation about it. So come on then, mate. Give us your opinion. I'm listening. We're both listening.
Now, do you think now the Romero haters are gonna fuel this and have their moment?
I think they definitely are because, well, he's definitely done it for himself. I mean, he's had all the credit out there for how he's got his act together and how he's got his head together and how he's doing so well. But again, he's just gone and showed in a game where he was already lucky he didn't come off, but he's lost his cool. Can you blame anyone for giving him any stick now? Really?
Yeah, you can't blame. It's his fault, obviously, man. I was just putting it out there, saying that his haters are eating. You know what I mean?
Oh, mate, they're having dinner. They're having a kebab with him, and he's brought it on himself. 110%.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I mean,
and,
yeah, go on. I'm listening.
Yeah, I was saying, and as well, like we need to have a chat about a certain guy that's getting away with it in your team, in my opinion.
Go on.
And I think that person, that person was there, man. You know what I mean? He came on, and he conceded 4. You know, you see how much is a wrong one?
And that was who?
Dyer. I'm saying Dyer is the biggest problem in the team.
Oh, definitely. But do you know what? I can't really fault him. I don't think he could have done much more. When he came on, he saved a cross coming through, basically, and for what is expected of him and everything, I can't really slate the player, but he's not a first choice player.
Yeah, man, he's finito, man. He's a long way from Starbucks, as I said. But though,
yes, he is.
But then though, he came on and he conceded 4. How about that? You know, and you played Thailand with 9 men. Is it Postecoglou's fault for being too open at 9 men, or Dyer comes on and all of a sudden you concede?
Do you know what? I think you can look on that from both sides, because a lot of people would say what we did was just basically a death trap. Yeah,
it was.
But I could see the idea of what he was doing, because at one point Chelsea was looking a bit lost. They didn't quite know how to get it over without being offside, and it was working, but it sooner or later it was going to go wrong. I mean, I mean, what's your opinion on Højbjerg? Both of you. What do you both think on Højbjerg since he came on?
Yo, Dietrich, qu'est-ce que tu penses de Højbjerg, gros?
I mean, I thought Højbjerg done brilliant when he came on. Personally, he couldn't have done any better, really.
But come on, man, Højbjerg is average. Like even Sava said he's another one that he's another bluffer in the squad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, but for me, Højbjerg is good enough to be a squad player. I'm not saying he's a first 11, but he came on there and he did the job of as good as he could with 9 people on the pitch.
Honestly, when he came on, I was surprised. But when I saw Skip is like, I don't know how he's a footballer. He is
Il
sold
est,
out.
il est claqué,
That
frère.
is
I don't get
exactly
it.
right. Skip is a lot worse than
Did you see-
Højbjerg in my eyes, and Skip gets it. Skip gets it a bit soft because he came through the academy, I
Yeah.
reckon.
Did you see
Yeah,
how Vicario screamed at him on the second goal?
exactly.
I think everybody heard it, let alone saw it. You know. But I think Højbjerg is good enough to be a squad player, and at the moment, if we're going to sell him, we need to buy someone better. But are we going to be able to buy someone better if we do sell him to use as a squad player? That one we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah,
But
that's another.
I know what you're saying there, Minerals, about what Sava says, and quite a few of the others saying that. I'm one of the few that will stick up for Højbjerg and say that he is good enough for a squad player. And to me, he definitely proved that today, because I don't think you could actually fault the man for anything he did when he came on. I feel Højbjerg gets more stick than he actually needs to. I honestly don't think he deserves the amount of stick he actually gets. No, he's not a great player. No, he is not special. But like I said, squad player, I think he'll do fine for the rest of the season. If we can get better if we sell him, then that's how you do it. But the amount of stick that fella gets, I think, is a bit uncalled for. Like some people say, Kulusevski gets too much. I don't know.
Yeah, Kulu as well. Kulu is he's a one-trick pony, in my opinion. You know, he's not fast enough, and you need that pace to run in behind. And that's another problem with Kulu, bro.
I think he made a mistake when he subbed off Brennan Johnson. That was the biggest mistake, in my opinion. When we subbed off Brennan Johnson.
Oh, subbed off Brennan Johnson. Yeah, I thought you said sold there. Now you see, I can agree with that. Yeah, I get that point. I mean, with Kulusevski, do you know what? The fellow ain't actually slow on 100 meters. He's actually pretty quick. But the problem is with him, he's one of those players whose acceleration isn't quick. His top speed is quick, but he takes 50 meters to get to his pace. Whereas you look at someone like Van der Ven, he can get to his top speed. He can get to his top pace in a matter of 5 meters.
Van der Ven is a Rolls Royce, man. He's got the minerals, and that's what you can say. His best quality for me is his reading of the game, and that's key for his system.
You say with the reading of his game, one thing I do find out is that he does get caught out in the odd places and that. But the thing that does cover him is his pace. So as long as he gets it right in the end, he gets it right. But he does read the game well, and we are going to miss him very, very badly.
Yeah, he's going to be out for like 2 months, in my opinion, because it's the hamstring, whatever.
Well, it depends how he's done it. I just hope he's pulled it. If he snapped it, he's going to be out for 3 months, if not more. I mean, the way he came off of there, he was in tears, and that didn't just look like he pulled something, did it? That looked like something actually went very wrong, didn't it?
Yeah, Dan, and also Dietrich. Do you think that? Do you think that him removing Brennan Johnson was logical because you needed the defensive stability, and you always have to keep Sonny on because he's your striker. You always need your striker at 10 men.
Okay, go on, D-Trex. I'll let you answer that one first.
For me, like, you saw how Johnson was running at James because James is not fit. And you even saw how he turned Disasi upside down. He was the only reason why we scored the goal, the first one. I personally think Johnson should have stayed and Kulu should have been subbed off. Because if you want to play counter-attack, you need fast pace.
Yes, you do.
And you can't have someone that's slow on the ball. Like, unless you want to play like possession based, then Kulu's the best option. But for running at players and they have a good end product like Johnson because he plays striker for Wales, I thought he was the guy that should play with Son at striker.
Do you know what? Saying that, yeah, I must admit I haven't looked at it from that point of view, and I can't make you wrong. Yeah, Johnson would have probably been the better idea staying on for the way we were trying to do it. Yeah, I totally get your point.
Totally, but
go on.
But I was saying, Johnson. I know why he got subbed off. It was because you needed the defensive stability, and you couldn't
Yeah.
have a lot of attackers on the pitch. And Kulu, his passing, it's brilliant, to put Sonny through on goal. But but then again, like, why did he play a Highland at 9 men? It's suicidal, he should have parked the plane, everything.
Do you know what? I think that one, it's a bit of a you're fucked if you do and you're fucked if you don't, basically, to put it quite bluntly. Because if you just sit back like Liverpool did, sooner or later there will be that cross or that shot that will get in, and you're just giving them option after option to throw shots at you. Where we were pushing up so high, it was working at one point, and Chelsea did not know how to deal with it until they got that second goal. I mean, we all saw the second goal cut. Do you know what? We'd have been screwed no matter what way we'd done it, as far as I'm concerned. Because if we would have just sat back, they would have still got that second at least, and we wouldn't have had a chance. I mean, the thing that really done my head in with that is at the end, Son could have really had that. He really could, but he was knackered. And that one with Benton Core he was a bit unlucky that he sort of headed it onto his foot. If we wouldn't have been pressing, we wouldn't have stood a chance on getting anything tonight.
I know, but you can play defensive football while pressuring the ball as well.
Yeah. Again, I see where you're coming from, but for me, it's one of those ones when you got 9 men on there, you're screwed if you do, you're screwed if you don't. I think he just wanted to try it.
I mean, Liverpool nearly drew you guys. You are Rizla paper of drawing the game with Liverpool.
Yeah. But the amount of pressure we had on them all the time and kept going until the end, and they just kept defending. Some will say it was lucky, yeah, but it was luck that we made because we kept pressing. Yeah,
it wasn't lucky,
kept pressing. It was luck. It was luck that we made, though, because we made them make that mistake.
I know you made them make that mistake. Absolutely, it was inevitable that they would have conceded, but more often than not, they wouldn't have because the time would have been running out, and this, that, and the other, and it just happened that you scored.
I mean, I can't say I've ever seen a manager tell their team to do that when they're down to 9 men. I mean, it's not very often that you see it go down to 9 men, is it? So it was a strange one, but it looked. Go on.
Sorry, go, man.
I was just saying it's a strange one, but it looked like it was working at one point, but it sort of had its own self-destruct on it as well, that when Chelsea sort of got the hang of what we was doing, basically, sooner or later, they had enough pace to outdo us. If we'd have still had Van der Ven on the pitch, I reckon that could have worked, but we didn't. So, yeah, to me, we were screwed if we didn't, screwed if we didn't, really.
Yeah, but I just think personally, once you lose Van der Ven, your best recovery defender, I think it's time to stop playing a high line.
It makes sense. It does make sense. I can't argue with what either of you said. I can just look on it from both sides and say you're both right. And I can also say I'm right in the aspect of we were screwed if we didn't, screwed if we don't.
Because it's 1-1 and you're down to 9 men, might as well just fight for the point. Like 1 point is better than 0. And especially against rivals.
Very
it's
much
not like
true.
Chelsea, they don't play well against top 6. You know they have a good record against top 6 teams. So you get 1 point and you move on.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'll agree with it. It would have made more sense. It would have. I could see what he was trying for, but I think we all knew at the end it looked pretty and it looked like what Gary Neville said. He was appalling it, and like he was giving us a clap and everything, and that saying that we showed courage and everything else, but it was a self-destruct. It was going to go wrong. Gary Neville said he was shocked at how we done, but also he gave us our fair dues on saying that we screwed it up for ourselves, and we did. So we definitely got them 2 players to blame for it, and I really do hope that they see some stick off the manager for it. So what I'm going to go to here is asking you two, just going to go through a quick, on rating on the players, on how they played. Now, for me, man of the match even I'd go for, even though he conceded 4, I'd say was Vicario.
Yeah.
because he just looked not far off a world-class keeper what he did today. And I know that's a strong word. It's not a word I use very often. Today he looked not far from it. And you can't blame him for none of those goals. He wasn't at fault for it. He even saved our arse on a few points where they could have quite easily turned that into a 6-1 or whatever. I thought Vicario had an epic game. Forget that he conceded 4 goals. None of them was his fault in any means or manner. I thought he had an outstanding game. And personally, I'd have rated him a 9 today. What do you two rate?
For me, he's a 9. And can I just say, Jimmy Carragher, he said that was the best sweeper keeper performance he ever seen in his life.
Yeah, I didn't see that after the game.
For me, imagine like he conceded 4 goals. I'm just talking about like other sides they rate players. He conceded 4 goals and he got a better rating than the other keeper.
That's mad. It's madness, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just see that.
He conceded 4 and he had a 7.5 and the other keeper had a 7.1. So he beat him by 0.4.
You know what I mean? It's crazy. But
for me,
today,
he gets a 9 as well. Like
yeah,
he kept you in the game really. Once you got down to 10 men and you started leaking the chances, was keeping you in it, man. His shot stopping is his best quality, man. That guy reminds me of De Gea, prime De Gea, where he would save like 10 xg.
Yeah, I mean, De Gea was a weird one for me. I mean, there were some times where he looked world class, and other times he looked like he just did not know what he was doing.
No, I'm saying when he was world class consistent.
Yeah. No, I was agreeing with you. I was just saying De Gea is a very weird one for me, but I totally get what you're saying. And
he's better
this
distribution at him, but
Mm-hmm.
but he's better. Vicarious is better at both. He's better at distribution than him, and you can argue his shot stopping as well.
No, and I love the way he comes out for the ball and catches it quite happily. Doesn't even look like he's sweating. I love the way he takes
big
control of the box.
I've got a dip, man, and big up D-Trix, man, my brother.
All right, then, mate. You take care of yourself, yeah.
Yeah, man. Up the minerals, FC. Yo, these
Anyway,
ciao,
okay. I mean, what are you doing? You doing anything, or you just going on people's shows? You got your own Twitter or anything?
Nah, man. I'm just going on spaces and seeing the mudding, you know.
Just having the chat. All right, then, mate. Cheers for joining us.
Cheers.
Take care of yourself. Okay, down to me and you then, D-Trix.
Yeah.
So, Pedro Porro. I mean, for me,
it's a 2.
A 2.
I thought he was shocking defensively. But how many times he was targeted so many times. It was sad. Look, I love the fellow, but today he was not up to it.
I honestly don't think he had his worst game today. I would not have rated him a 2 at all. But I think he's going to get more credit than possible because we was down to 9 men.
Because he created the red card. Do you remember when he miskicked the ball?
Mm-hmm.
And it went all the way there? Like, he created all the downfall defensively. For me, personally, I don't think... I'm just talking about, like, defensively, he was not good enough. Maybe 2, that's harsh. Okay, 4. 4 is... But I don't think he was good enough.
Yeah, well, today I'd give him a 6 personally. Like I said, I agree with what you said. He did make a few mess ups, but going forward, he was very good. Defense, I think he gets a bit more credit than due because he was that poor last season. And where he's got better this season, people are looking at it like he's doing great. No, he's just doing better than what he was, but it's still not good enough. I mean, then we go to Romero. I mean, that one just goes without saying. I think we both agree he just gets a 1 on that. If we could do a minus or a 0, we'd give him that. Would we agree?
Oh, I would say a 5, but he got a red card, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the reason I'd give him a 1 for it is because he knew he was already had his eye. He knew the ref already had his eyes on him, and
I don't think it's a red. I don't think it's a red card, but like just sometimes, some players like even if they do something just stupid,
Yeah.
the ref is gonna come like red card. Do you remember David Luiz? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember other players? They always to get a red card, even though they did nothing wrong. Romero knows he has a target on his back, and he did that.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have to go full force, but like
No,
you
he
need to
didn't.
calm down. You need to calm down sometimes, and now you have a 3-match suspension for a stupid thing.
He's meant to be our vice captain. That is why I'll go for him for a 1, purely because he was the one who started that self-destruct, basically, as far as I'm concerned. Because it all started with him when he got pushed out. When he pushed the other player out of the way. I can't remember who it was, and they came and pushed him back, like clean off the.
Oh yeah, when he went on attack.
Yeah, and that's right. And it all sort of started rolling from there. He needed to keep his head better, and we've all been preaching about how he has been keeping his head and he's fixed and whatever. And to me, he just turned into the Romero of last season. And he's meant to be a vice captain. I can't give him more than a 1. I can't do it just for the pure mentality of him. The fella needs a slap, and that's an understatement. So what about Udoji then? I mean, sorry, Van der Ven until he came off.
6.5.
Yeah, I'll go with a 6 on that one. I think he was doing good, but I don't think he was really on long enough to judge him properly as such.
Yeah.
He was covering his ground well, as he always did, started the game great, as he always does. But when he pulled himself up, did we notice it? Yes, we did, because how fast that man is absolutely shocking. And one thing that definitely did show is how much we rely on him for where we push up so high to come back and cover it. Don't you reckon?
Yeah, but that's the problem when you're tall and you're fast. You're gonna get the hamstring every time. Because like it's not like he picks up space. Like him, it's like a burst of space. So, like, do you know how much stress he puts on his muscles every time?
Yeah, where it's a sprint basically, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not like you go like Walker used to go slowly by slowly, then he got faster. Him is like one run.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said earlier, isn't it? Like with Kulusevski, he's actually got a good pace on him, but he takes 50 meters to get it, whereas Van der Ven takes 2 meters and he's in full blast.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom was saying it just the other day that sooner or later we're going to see a couple of hamstrings with Van der Ven. Yeah, nice one, Tom. I think you might have cursed the player. Thanks, mate.
But like when you make that many runs in one half, you're gonna get injured.
Sooner or later, the shit's going to hit the fan, innit?
Exactly. This is why, personally, I don't like highlights. Because you're going to get injuries. And when you go 100 miles an hour, it's just going to happen. It's normal.
It was inevitable that it was going to happen with him sooner or later.
Especially him.
Yeah, for how fast he is and everything else. And I'm just hoping it was a pull and not a tear. Or he's absolutely ripped it. Because he did come off that pitch crying. And I don't think that was just because he was upset. But for Harry...
Yeah.
What, you think he's just pulled it?
Yeah, I just think he pulled it. Because, you know, like, when it hurts that much, I just think, like, he just couldn't walk on and pull, like, weight. But I don't think it's a tear. I just think it's a 6-week minimum recovery.
Yeah. I mean, we've definitely lost him for, I'd say... We
hardest for the hardest fixtures: Newcastle, City, West Ham.
Not looking good. Talk about all self-destruct in one game, isn't it? But let's just hope it isn't as bad as it looks. But I think he's definitely going to be out for 6 weeks to 2 months. I think we'd be lucky if we see him again this year, depending how bad that is. But the way that looked, the way he came off, the way he literally went down as soon as he sprinted, to me, we're going to be lucky if we see him back by the beginning of January. But I'd give him a 6 for what he's done so far, because I don't really think he had enough time in the game to really judge him overall. So let's go to our next man then, Udoji.
It's a 2. It's a 2.
Go on.
You got a yellow card. He gave you a warning. Don't do stupid shit, bro. And we're down to 10 men.
Yep.
He didn't have a bad game. That's the worst part. But he has a defender. You gotta use your head. It's all we all
Yes,
love.
you do.
We all love slide tackle. Like it's one of the best feelings to win the ball, like slide tackle and pick up the man.
I used to love it.
Me too. I love it because I was center back all my life. But sometimes you need to be careful. When you're in
Yes, you
yellow,
do.
don't ever go in the ground. Even though you have to, just don't do it. It's not worth it.
Yeah. And that was one of the mistakes I used to make, but I used to get away with it more because I'm 42 now and I used to play it 20 years ago and you could do that. But even then, you
Yeah.
still had to be a bit careful when you're on a yellow card. I mean, I played goalkeeper and then where I didn't really match the style of play back then, I used to like playing a sweeper keeper 20 years ago and that weren't the fashion. And then they ended up putting me out in defensive midfield. I ain't necessarily a big fella, but I used to love getting stuck into the ball, slide tackles, and everything.
Yeah.
That was the fun of the game for me. I used to love it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
It's like when you
there's a
win
time
and
and a
you
place.
yeah, and like when you carry like it's such a good feeling, but you don't have to do it every time. You just don't
No,
have to.
exactly. And he didn't need to do that there. He didn't even need to make the bloody tackle, did he?
Yeah, it's not like he was clean on goal and like you had to make the tackle because like either way
No,
he's gonna score. He
the other
was on
fella
the
had his back to the
forward.
goal.
Exactly.
It was stupid, especially
At
being
the
on the.
worst case, you could have just like pushed him a bit, but like you didn't have to tackle. If you pushed him, he wouldn't get a yellow. He just gave him another warning. But this
Yeah,
one, it was a yellow card, offense.
like it or lump it, it was what it was in that aspect, wasn't it? It was. Again, he deserved what he got. So, what would you give him?
A 2 or 3.
A 2 or
You?
3? I'm going to have to give the man a 3 as well because of basically because of what you said. He did not need to make that challenge. There was no reason for it to be made. I mean, for me, he should have got a red for going in 2-footed like he did because these days you just don't do that. I mean, so the question we got here quickly is how many games must we play until the January window opens? If I'm thinking right, we got about 7 games in January.
We have 9
January,
games.
December, and another 2. Yes,
Yeah.
so it's 9 games. Yeah, that's not going to be pretty, is it? That's going to be.
And it's 2 games every week.
Yeah. And December was the time we was really going to find out how hard this was going to be, wasn't it? And we've definitely made it hard for ourselves. But I'm going to have to go with you on that one and give a Doji a 3. I mean, I didn't even think his game was that bad. He should have been off already, but that was just a stupid. I mean, that was as bad as what's his name Yotta done with us, wasn't it? I mean, he was already on a yellow, whether it was a yellow or not weren't the point, and then he goes and does a dickhead challenge like he did. He got another yellow and he was off. It was just as stupid as what he done.
But even like, I'm not trying to diss him. Like I love Udogi, but like this game, defensively, he didn't look up to it. Like he got skinned so many times.
They were saying that it was only on the last minute, basically, that they said he was fit enough, basically, because he had to come off in the last game as well, wasn't it?
He didn't look himself. Didn't look like himself.
Do you think he's starting to show on the players now, just sticking with a main 11 all the time?
Well, that's what happens.
Starting to show a bit of wear and tear.
Yeah, that's what happens when I say we don't have a big squad. That's what you get.
Yeah. We definitely don't have the depth, and we've all known that for a while, but we didn't think it was going to quite self-destruct like it did today. Right, so next man, Papa Matasar. How would you say his game went?
Sar.
Hmm.
You see, I have a mixed emotions with Sar. I don't think the guy's a bad player, but I don't think he offers a lot for his position, for the position he plays. I think he's a good defensive mid player, but he doesn't bring enough offensively. Like you saw, do you remember on the counter attack and he gave a bad ball to Son?
But he did give an early assist, didn't he? It was his assist.
But that was a simple 5-yard pass. And then Cole just got a deflection.
I get where you're going from. If I'm going to praise him on that, then I've got to praise Richarlison for his 2-yard passes
exactly.
and that as well, isn't it? Yeah, so just basically shot myself in the head there. So yeah, do you know what? I get where you're going from. Totally get your point now.
Like I need more from him. I need more.
Yeah, I mean, he's young. We can give him that. And what was it? What was it? Ange said. He said he's still trying to actually work out what Sarr is. Is he a 6, an 8, or a 10? I don't see him as a 10.
For me, he's a 6. He's a 6.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. But I think we've got a very good player there who's going to come through. But I think as soon as Benton Core's fit enough, I think Benton Core's going to take his place.
Exactly.
And Benton Core is a very good player. But today, I'd give Sarr a 6. You?
6 is fair. 6. 6.
Yeah.
6.5.
Okay, then. Next man, Basuma. I mean, for me,
He was okay.
I thought he actually had a good game overall, and especially seeing what happened in the end. But there was a few times where he seemed to lose the ball and have to, how should I say, like repair what he'd done as such. But I think Basuma had a good game. He done a lot of running about on there. I mean, he showed that he has got quality in the middle and that. And considering that there was only 9 men in our team, I think he actually had a good game overall. I think I'd give him a 6.5, 7?
Yeah, that's pretty fair. But I just think sometimes he needs to release the ball quicker. Because I just think like he makes the good decision on the tackle, but then when it comes to like just play the ball forward, stop like trying to dribble or take the heavy touch like he did it many times today.
Yeah, you think he plays that that pass just that little bit too late, like Kulusevski does at times, because Kulusevski has a bad habit of doing that as well, doesn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what
like
would you have rated him?
6.5. A
Yeah.
normal performance. Not his best, but like a normal one.
Maddison then. Until he came off, basically, I thought he was brilliant, getting about as he did, usual quick balls, jumping in and out, building things up. And then it just sort of fell to pieces for him where he had to come off. So he came off quite early, so I don't think we can really rate him too fairly. So from what I saw, I'd say a 6.5, 7.
Yeah, that's fair. 6.5. But there's one thing I have an issue with Madison. Do you know sometimes when he goes on the side of the box?
Yeah.
I would love if you just like, instead of like every time trying to like fake across, just cross it and maybe you get the deflection.
Instead of trying to do what Kulusevski does on the other side all the time.
Exactly. Like, I just don't understand these footballers lately. Like, just take the easy options.
Do you know what? I can totally get where you're coming from then. Yeah, and if I'd have said this on other sites and that, I'd have got set about and that. But I agree with that. I think Maddison is a top
He's a
player.
top player. Top.
And I've been screaming for him to come to Spurs since his first season at Leicester. I've got another mate who's a Liverpool supporter, and he was talking to me about him when he was at Norwich. And he's perfect for what we needed and everything and that. But I will agree with you there. There is a couple of times where it's almost like, all right, boy, we know you're sure of yourself. We know you can do it. We know you got the tricks. But sometimes, mate, just put the bloody cross in the ball, will you?
Exactly.
Or just drill it one or the other. You don't have to try and twinkle toes around everything.
Because if I said it like on another channel, everyone would cuss me and say, I don't know what I'm talking about. But with him, like, he's just that talented that just sometimes, like, making the easy option will make a huge difference. Just like Pro, just drill the ball underground hard and low, and you might get a deflection or you might get that lucky pass.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what happened against Liverpool. It wasn't working with the way Kulu was doing it. So Podge called him over and said, right, Kulu, step back, let Porro go round you and just drill the bloody thing. He did it, lo and behold, we got an own goal out of it. I mean, I'm not one who's keen on floating the ball over with a cross anyway.
Yeah.
And I'd always prefer my player to drill it through. Yeah, all right, it can get a rebound here and there, but it can also go into the middle and go here, there, and everywhere. I've always one who prefers someone to drill it into the box than basically float it in there. But then I suppose it depends who you got up front as well. We haven't really got anyone who can head the ball really, except Richarlison, because Son definitely can't do it, and I don't think that Johnson's going to be too good at that sort of thing. So I think we've got to keep it short and sweet, isn't it?
That's why you drill the ball. And the thing, like with Madison, when you waste time on crossing the ball, you give time to Caicedo and James to double up on you. And then you get dispossessed. Even the stats prove it, like he got dispossessed too many times on the first half.
Yeah, I mean, you can't complain with him the way he is. This is exactly how you want your creative player to be. But sometimes it hasn't got to be so twinkle toes, mate. Just do what you got to do. It ain't always got to look pretty. It's basically
like Eriksen. Eriksen sees the ball. He raises his head. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna cross it. Whatever happens, happens.
He keeps it short and sweet at times, whereas Maddison seems to always want it looking pretty, doesn't he?
Yeah, like he wants to make it like a 5-star skill before.
No, do you know what? I'll agree with you on that because I've thought that myself for a little while on that, but it's not that either of us are slating the player in any means or manner.
Yeah, it's not slating.
Both know he's a spectacular player. He really is. But there is times where you just think, mate, you just cross the bloody thing or pass it. You don't have to go round 3 people, nutmeg 2 people, and then bloody like scorpion kick it or whatever. Just bloody do it.
It's like that guy when you were at school. Like he never wanted to do the easy pass. He always wanted to do outside the 4. Nutmeg the guy, then he would pass you the ball.
Oh, do you know what, mate? Like when I used to play in the team and that, there was always one like that, and you used to feel like slapping him in the head sometimes. Like,
mate, you just look at him
10 seconds, and I could have booted it. And I know you've taken it round 10 people, and it looks good now, but you could have just bloody passed it to me. Yeah. There is times where I think he's got to go for more the easier side than to just make it look good.
Exactly.
So with that one, I'm with you 100%, and I'll argue that on any page, mate. And they can tell me. Everyone's got their own opinion, and that is what we're entitled to. And everybody sees football through their own 2 different eyes. But that is one I'm going to have to agree on you on. He does make a mountain out of a molehill sometimes, when it could just be quick, got the ball, tap it, and then he could basically run around it and get himself into a space. But he seems to. It seems like he's almost waiting for that perfect pass all the time. No, you can't always get the perfect pass. So just get the bloody ball in there sometimes.
Because you know with Chelsea, the defenders are not the smartest. Like
no, they're not.
You saw how many times he done stupid mistakes, and Sanchez, the goalkeeper.
Maybe the goalkeeper is shady anyway.
Exactly. So sometimes like you can even cross and get a deflection. Like sometimes things happen. You gotta try. I give him a 6.5.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Just going back to what someone said quickly, the Alex Scott experience. Right, Wolves away, 11th November. Villa, 26th of November. Man City on 3rd of December. West Ham, 7th of December.
Newcastle, 10th.
Newcastle, 10th. Forest on the 15th, Everton on the 23rd, Brighton on the 28th, Bournemouth on the 31st. Ouch. That was going to do damage anyway.
Did you see Brighton and Bournemouth? 2 days, not 3 days.
Yeah, do you know what, though? I mean, Brighton, for me, they haven't been the force that they have been last year. I mean, Brighton have looked 1 minute very, very good, and 1 minute very, very average. They've definitely been different to how they were last season. But going back on looking on them games quickly, and that's some tough games. Man City. That one doesn't matter either way. With chance you lose that one, you can throw that over your shoulder and say it is what it is. Wolves is not going to be easy. They always are. They like to get physical. Villa. Yes, they've had their beatings, but they're also getting to know themselves, and that's going to be a dangerous game. Newcastle is going to be a hard game. Look how they just played with Arsenal. Forest, I still feel we can get that. Everton, we should. Brighton, 50-50. Bournemouth, yes, we should do them. But then if we've got half our bloody team missing with injuries, especially in defence, we're going to be pretty screwed, aren't we?
And what's funny, we only had 1 game a week, and we have injuries.
Yeah.
One game.
You know what? The thing I think people weren't that negative about it is because the injuries we was getting was up front, and that was where we had the most cover. And the thing we was all shit scared of was our defence getting injured and that. And then lo and behold, we get our main centre back out, and our other one's now bloody banned for what is it? 3 games he's going to be out for a straight red, isn't it?
3 games, unless we get lucky and they contest.
Yeah, and what is it if they contest? Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen either. Yeah. So right, let's go on to our next man then. Kulusevski. What sort of game would you say he had?
Because he had a goal.
Mm-hmm.
He did his job with 9 men, like he pressed a lot.
Yep.
I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to agree with you, basically. I'll give him a 7 on that because he got his goal early on, whether it's a deflection or not, I couldn't care less. It's gone in the net. That's all I care about. And it was down to the fact that he shot it. And I also think that he proper went toe-to-toe with everyone he could and done as much as he could down the right before he had to come off. I mean, I think I'd have rather kept him on than put Skip on, but I think Kulusevski was a bit knackered. I mean, Skip for me is just all the stick that Højbjerg gets.
I told people, even when he was at Norwich, he's worse than Harry Winks, and nobody believed me. He is worse than him.
Cool.
Some people wake up.
Go on, I'm listening.
Like, he just, like, at least Winks, you know, like, he had that pass in him. Like, he had something about him. But
yeah.
Skip, you can't even tell me one good attribute he has. I'm not saying a world class. I'm saying a good one. Because he's not.
He can't even tackle properly.
Exactly.
He can't pass properly. He can't run with the ball. He can't run without the ball. He can't even head the ball that well. I don't see what people see in him. I really don't. All right, if you put him in the Championship, whatever, and that, yeah, he might look good. Same as Harry Winks is coming up good. But one thing you can't take away from Harry Winks is he did have moments of quality against some very big teams. I mean, that game he had against Real Madrid, he was absolutely class on the pitch.
Skip,
and I do think,
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
And I think Winks, yeah, you could tell he had something in him that he could pull something off. But was he good enough for the first team and that? No, he wasn't. Yeah. But he's definitely, I'll agree, mate, he's better than fucking Skip. I think Skip gets too much cuddled up because he came through the ranks, basically. And I just don't rate the man at all. And as all I hear is people go on about Højbjerg and that. Oh, yeah, but Skip's all right. Look how he did at Norwich. I don't care what he done at Norwich. I don't care that he come through the ranks. I think he's crap. He's another player I think we need to get rid of, personally.
And when people said they'd rather have Skip than Gallagher, I told them Gallagher is a better player, even though I don't rate him too. At least he can press and he can he can score. He can get the all goals, like you saw at Palace.
Yeah, I mean, Gallagher, personally, I think he's been Chelsea's most consistent player this season overall. I think he's been very good, and I would have quite happily took him, and there you go. Skip can walk along, go wherever he's got to go. I totally agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
So there we go, Kulusevski. We'll agree on a 7, yeah?
Yeah, 7.
Okay, so we're coming down to the last, well, I say last couple. There's a fair few more to come through because because we had some subs.
Yeah.
So let's go on to Son then. What do you reckon Son pulled off today?
Son, 6.5. 7.
Any particular reasons?
Well, the main one, at least he made the runs. He pressed. Yeah. He did not stop pressing the whole game. And like he was triple team. Like he even remember the last seconds when he got the shot and the way he beat the center back. Like he did everything right. Just unfortunately, he did not get any service.
I think personally, if that would have been a different game as such, and what I mean by a different game, if we'd have had like 11 players on the pitch or even 10 players on the pitch,
he would get a goal.
It would have been a goal. I just think the reason he couldn't get the kick to it properly and place it is because he was just that bloody knackered.
Yeah.
And he still managed to get to it and beat a defender. It just didn't go right for it. So I'm not going to grill him for missing that. On another day, I'd give him some stick for missing that because that's one that you expect a quality player like Son to score. But he was shattered, mate. He was absolutely busted, and he did run that pitch as ragged, left, right. He was all everywhere, and you can't fault him really today.
He did not. The way even the goalkeeper, the way like non-stop, you just see Son pressing him every time.
Hmm.
Do you know how many times Sanchez we got the ball because of Son's pressing Sanchez and he couldn't cut the ball properly?
And their goalkeeper was looking a bit scared with it a few times. I mean, he even booted it out and it went wrong a few times when Son come running at him, didn't it?
Exactly.
So I think I'll give Son, I'll go 7.5 with him.
Yeah. 7.5, that's a fair score.
Yeah. Right. Next man and the last man out of the starting 11, Brennan Johnson. How would you go with my man?
He had 34 minutes.
Exactly.
So, but even the 34 minutes, the way he put James and the Sassy on toast, it was you saw the difference in Richarlison. You just see the difference. You see the quality. You see a player that actually can beat his man with pace
and play
football. Exactly. Like at least with him,
looks like he can't do shit.
Like with him, at least like if you remove his head, it's not like a chicken.
That's exactly what I say about Richarlison, isn't it? Take the man's head off, and he really would look like a headless chicken on the bloody pitch, wouldn't he? He fucking does my nut in that player. He really, really does.
And you see with him, every time like he beat his man, looks up, pass. It's not like let me try to dribble, let me do the Brazilian way, try to.
He's always looking forward, isn't he? He's always looking forward. Or
he gets the ball. He's like, let me beat this guy because I know I can beat him with pace.
And the only reason he looks sideways is for a cross, not because he just wants to play a silly little side ball to attack with someone. He's always looking to get the ball forward or to get it in for the cross. That was how I saw him today, and I've seen him the few times I have seen him play. Yeah, he's going to have to play a lot more for me to make a judgment of the player properly, but you just see the bare quality difference with him playing instead of Richarlison, don't you?
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But seeing as he only done about half hour on the game, I think what was it, about 35 minutes, something like that. Yeah, he's got to go as 6. And that's no disrespect to the fella, it's just he wasn't
lucky.
Yeah. So now we go down to our subs. Now I know a lot of people are gonna debate this one hard. Eric Dyer, a man who I thought would never ever play for Tottenham again unless the shit hit the fan. There you go, the shit hit the fan.
I know you're not going to agree with me, Dan, because I know you're feeling about him. I know you don't like him. I don't like him either.
No.
But this game, I'll give him a 4. Okay. I don't think he played well. And I'll give you my reason. He made one good tackle the whole game. He made one tackle.
I mean, that first interception he did make was good.
Yeah, it was good. That's why I give him 4 points.
Okay.
And because he didn't leave the pitch to go to the bathroom too, so I'll give him another point for that. But every time the way he was beat on pace, it was pathetic too much.
And he's the thing. He's so slow.
He's so slow. Even his reading of the game, you see Jackson coming next to you, and
he's clumsy, you're slow. Isn't he?
You know you're slow. So how about you just follow him? No, this guy just let him run. It's like, oh, let me run with him after 5 seconds later. Yeah, he is not a good defender. And whoever tells me he had a good performance from the bench, I disagree with them. I thought he was.
I think he done all right for what he could. I think he had an all right game, especially by his standards. But I think that's me looking at him.
For his standards.
For his standards, I think I'm making the same thing that I think I'm doing the same thing that a lot of us are doing with Porro, saying he's actually been really good at defending. When he hasn't, he's just been significantly better than what he was, but it's still not exactly good for what you want your right back to defend with.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'll at least give him a 5.5 today.
You're being nice. You're being nice.
Yeah, but by his stat, I don't feel he was that bad. And one thing you got to think of, he hasn't basically started all season. So I'm just trying to show a bit, and everybody knows that I do not rate this player and don't like him, and I want him out of the club big time. Don't like his attitude, don't like the way he is, I just don't like him, period. Never have done.
Let
I
me
think
give
he's
you a
got-
perspective. He came
Go
on,
for it.
we conceded 4 goals. And because of
Yeah.
his mistake, Van de Ven had to recover and got injured. So you see,
Yeah.
like, it's all him every time.
Do you know, it is even trying to be nice with it, and even
You're
trying to
being
be
too
nice
nice.
with it. Yeah, but
Even
yeah,
Højbjerg that never played centre back showed him what a centre back should play like.
yes, I'm gonna have to take it down, and I'll go to a 4.5, and that's still being nice.
Oh my god.
You know, just to be the awkward bastard, I'll go
Yeah.
to a 4.5. Yeah, the player he's diabolical and he's crap.
And now you're gonna see him for the next.
I mean, do you know
month.
what? Another thing I'll give him is he was unlucky for that goal because he got the volley quite nice in the goal and I'll give him that bit as well. But it didn't go in, it didn't count, so I ain't going to give him too much credit for it. But again, he really did show why we need more centre backs, didn't he?
Yeah.
It just proved it. Okay, so next man we go to. Another one who is not a popular person, Emerson Royale. Where do we go with this man?
6.5.
Okay, reasons?
Reasons is for like the Emerson we knew, like he tried his best and he didn't put a foot wrong. Personally, he didn't put a foot wrong.
I don't think he did either.
But I don't think like he brought anything good, but I don't think he did anything bad. He was just like a normal, decent performance.
I mean, I thought he covered centre back as good as he could, and switching to left back, but I thought he done as good as he could do. Because again, he's not another player that we rate highly on that. But I don't think he actually done anything wrong on the pitch either. I mean, when it comes to going forward and that, you can't really even slate the man for it because we all know he can't do it. But I thought he actually done his dues today. I thought he actually deserved a bit of credit. I'll give him a 6.5 personally because he had to play in 2 positions that he just don't play in, and he didn't really put a foot wrong, did he?
Yeah, I think it's normal performance, but what can you do? Like, he's an average player at best. So
there we go.
He had an average performance.
So now we're going to go to one where I know there's always a big debate on. Højbjerg.
8.5.
You know what? I'm going to go with you there, and just because I like the player as well, I could even push him up to a 9. Yeah. Now the reason I like yeah,
he saved the goal. Simple as.
Yeah, and also he's not a central defender, is he?
No,
in any means or manner.
Almost never played centre back.
Exactly.
Spurs.
And honestly, I thought he played brilliant when he came on. I thought he was brilliant. I mean,
he was amazing.
For what was expected of him and for the amount of stick he gets, I honestly thought, and that's not just being biased because I do actually think he's an all-right player. Again, like I repeat to everyone, he is not a first 11, but I think he's more than good enough for the squad. I think Højbjerg did not put a foot wrong when he came on that pitch, and he still looked to try and get forward. And people go on about how they don't like his Viking attitude, always screaming, shouting. Well, that was something you needed on the pitch then. You needed someone with a bit of a heartbeat on there. Basically, you can scream and shout because no one complains when Vicario does it. But if we can sell him and get better, that's what we got to do. But personally, I'll go with you on this. I'll give him an 8.5 because honestly, I thought he was brilliant when he came on. You could not have asked any more of the man, and he didn't just do it average. He actually done it good. Would you agree with that?
100%. And the way, do you remember he catched up Raheem Sterling? We know he doesn't have pace, but you see the difference than him and Dyer. He was running 100 miles an hour, like for his top speed. Unlike Dyer that just runs, jogs, he doesn't care. He actually like did not stop fighting the whole game. For a guy that never played center back, I'm gonna give you an 8.5 because you That's what I call wearing the badge. He did it. Is it frozen? Yeah, then it's frozen, I think. Yeah. So now let's go for Oliver Skip. I thought he was horrendous, in my opinion. I'll give him a 4. He might be the worst Spurs Academy graduate I've ever seen in my life. I don't rate the guy. I don't think he's good enough, and he should never play for Spurs ever again. With him, Dyer, and the rest. I thought he was shocking. Even Vicario started screaming at him. I don't think he's a good center back. No, he's a good, midfielder for Spurs going forward. It's time for him to go. So I'll give him a 4. And the last player, Benton Court, I'll give him a 6. He didn't put a full round, could have done better on the cross. But you can tell he's not 100%. So a 6 is fair for him. But I do think if he can get back to 75% of what he was with Conte, I think we might be the best player we can get. Yeah. Can't even end this stream. Guys, write something in the comments. I'll read them. Don't let me alone. Leave me alone. And actually, I forgot about the ref. The ref, I'll give him a 1. He is arguably the worst ref in this whole entire league. I hate my caller. I actually hate this guy. The fact we only got 1 yellow card and no, Chelsea got 1 yellow card and we got 5. That is criminal. And 2 red cards after. Palmer should have got at least a yellow, easily 1 yellow. The same thing with Sterling. Even Gallagher, even Caicedo, like almost all their players, and even freaking Thiago Silva, the way he bodied Son. Yeah. Arguably the worst ref in all of football is Michael Oliver. But that's what you call karma. We got lucky against Liverpool. They came back, gave us 2 red cards, and we lost. It is what it is. But it had to be push. That stopped us from from not getting a L. It had to be Poch. Arguably the most overrated manager ever. Well, I hope Dan comes soon because Because I can't even end the stream.
Mate, there we go, fella.
Yeah, he's back.
My internet has totally gone.
I can't even end the stream.
Mate, there we go, fella.
Yeah, he's back.
My internet has just gone total tits up, mate. So I'm gonna have to end this. Thanks for carrying it on. It's just my internet has totally gone. I'm literally running it through iPads and everything else at the minute.
Sorry, I'm not the best.
Then, people, thanks a lot. Detrix, I'll speak to you again soon, yeah?
Yeah, take care, my brother.
Cheers, mate.